Randy, Ben,
Today.
I would like you to meet Chef Charles. Chef
Bonjour,
Charles, this
chef.
is Randy Ben.
Bonjour, Randy. Like we say in France, bonjour, y'all.
You've been corrupted, my man.
And pleasure to
Ah,
be with you today. And I'm looking forward to this wonderful week we're going to be together. And I hope I will impress you with my food and passion for it and have a good time.
Your company is going to make it special.
yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Charles, tell us about how you started this career. How old were you? Where were you? Why did you decide?
Like you can tell with my accent, I was not born and raised in Texas. I was born and raised in France. And grew up in a family of six. I'm the baby of six, living in a small village of maybe 600 people. My dad was a retired military from World War II and started a small farm. And of course, we didn't have any supermarket or big store and everything. And my mom was cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Wow.
And like I say, I'm the baby one of six, and I was always attached to my mom in the kitchen and looking around. And for sure, when she was running to the little, we call it épicerie. It's a little store you can find almost everything from dairy to a pair of shoes, and they sell a little bit of everything for emergency. She knew that coming back from the store, Charles will be somewhere in the kitchen mixing flour, eggs, or whatever to do something with it. I mean, that the kitchen, my home kitchen with my parents was my kind of playroom. And I fall in love of cooking and passion of cooking. And also my dad, especially my dad, was a gourmet and loved good food and loved to have the kids around. That's why I have the passion of entertaining and make people feel good around the table. And I started at 14 and a half. School was not my things. School was not really my parents tried everything. I did all the Catholic school of Chartres in my own big city. And finally, at 11 years old, they sent me to a boarding school, thinking that I will get better. And I did 2 years and a half of boarding school. And finally, after I signed up to be apprentice, and I did 4 years of training in France. And I graduated in 1978 when I was 18 years old. And at this time, French military was an obligation for young men. That means with the help of my dad, I finished in a great military base. And guess what? I was a chef for 12 months. I maybe learned how to throw a grenade and use a shotgun for 3 months. And 9 months, I was in a officer kitchen to cook for 300 people every day with a team. That's my little story about my starting in a food business. And I came in America in 1985. I got my first job in Palm Beach, Florida. And I met the chef in south of France, in Mougins, close to Cannes. And he told me, okay, Charles, you have a job, but I don't know how much I'm going to pay you. I don't have any airfare ticket for you. I don't have any visa. Just come up this date. And I did, and came to America in 1985. It was September or something like that. And spent the whole winter in Florida. Loved it. It's the first time I was doing only lunch or only dinner in France. You know, it's lunch and dinner and you work, what, 12, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. Must mean, and I was riding my bicycle as a good Frenchman, in Palm Beach, and going through the coconut trees and those big cars and everything. I say, well, the little Frenchy guy, I think is going to love America. And I did everything I could to stay. And unfortunately, the restaurant didn't do so good in Palm Beach. I had to go back to France and reopen a small family restaurant in France. And during my time in Florida, I became a friend with a French maitre d' in the restaurant I was working. And my friend Alain married a girl from Lexington, Kentucky, and we start to create the idea to open a French restaurant in Lexington, Kentucky. The time I was in France, that means came back to the state in Lexington, Kentucky in 1987, something like that. Something like that. We was a success. It was great until I got some issue with the immigration, and they sent me back to France. After someone said to one of my employees, talking about the chef and everything, that he does not like French people, he's going to call immigration. And they came and took my passport, and I was okay. I didn't do anything wrong. I was waiting for an extension on my visa, and my visa was not up to date. My lawyer tried to help me to stay, and they give me 90 days to leave the country, and that's what I did. I went back to France, closed the restaurant, and I came back I stayed 2 years in France and came back in 92, April 92. I came back to the state in California with a sponsor. I had someone who sponsored me to get my green card and work permit. And I worked 2 years in California. I was a plant manager for a big meat processing place, and stayed 2 years in California. And in January 94, we got a big earthquake and decided to move. And we moved to Charlotte in April 94.
Charlotte.
Yes. Why Charlotte? Because first I grew up with the Four Seasons, and California is great, but the weather was wonderful, but the cost of living already at this time was pretty expensive. And the earthquake was not really what we liked the most. We picked Charlotte because it was not too north, not too south. We had the Four Seasons. It was not too much on the coast for the big storm and everything. And the city was growing pretty good. That means I bought a 1974 Volkswagen for $500. And my son was 2 years old. And I crossed from California to Charlotte in 15 days.
Wow.
And cooking in the back of the van, had my little Italian coffee maker with a little burner. And we arrived in Charlotte on tax day, April 14, 94. And I found the first job on April 17, couple days after that, in a French restaurant called La Bibliothèque.
Mm-hmm.
I started there. In La Bibliothèque, and after I did I stayed a very short time at La Bibliothèque, and I moved on to Lake Wally to do a summer season. And after I started in the fall, I started with a company called Eli's Catering. And Eli's Catering was one of the bigger catering company here in Charlotte. And that's where I learned all my experience to entertain in private home, sporting events. I did with them. I did 2 years in a row. I did the Bay Hill golf tournament for Mr. Palmer. That means that was some big events. And I worked for the company for 3 years, something like that. And if you remember Phil, Dean and DeLuca here in Charlotte.
Of course.
I started with Dean and DeLuca as an executive chef with them. And after I move on for Quail Hollow Club here in Charlotte, who's doing the Wachovia Championship now for the last 20 years. I did the first golf tournament for them with them. And I started my company in 2001. 2001, I started Chef Charles Catering. And I start slowly by be a personal chef for one of the football players here in Charlotte. He was a defense guy, Chris Jenkins.
Oh, sure.
And Chris Jenkins had a weight issue. That's been one of the coach found my name, and I cooked for the guy to try to make him lose weight. And it's not really with French food, you know. It's hard to make someone lose weight with French food, you know. But I cook for this football player, and I start my company little bit. And I'm sorry, I have a little one's coming to say hi.
Hello. Bonjour.
He's a future chef too.
There you go. Absolutely.
Au revoir, papé. Sorry about that.
No, it's great. It's great. We're in good hands, Randy. We're
Sorry.
in good hands.
I mean, I started my little company as a personal chef, and of course, you know, I'm a kind of entrepreneur, and from personal chef, it became to be a bigger company. I had 15 employees. I did the painter season for 13 years. I did the food service for the painters for 13 years. And now after COVID, when COVID came in, I decided to slow down. I kept only one small business called Chef Charles In-Flight Catering. And because that was the only business was going during COVID, those big executive and CEO still need to fly. That means I'm lucky to have a good group of big company here in Charlotte to have a lot of private jets to travel the world, or here in the States, domestic flight. That means that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years. Yeah. And the business growing. When Phil, you asked me to be part of your week retreat, it's something new for me. I like challenge. I like opportunities, meeting people. And I truly believe with food and good people and good ambiance, it's going to be a terrific, wonderful week. And, I love what I do. It's a passion. I truly believe it's in my blood. Food brings smile, even in a difficult time. It can be for a wedding, it can be for a funeral, but you know, we always connect much better with food.
Thank you. Yeah.
Chef, what kept bringing you back to America? You came back in 85, and I think you said 87, and then again in 92. What kept bringing you back?
Well, when you're not really, in my time, you know, I was not really, like I say, I was not really a good student. That means I suffer a lot of, and I apprenticed very young at 14 and a half to 18. That means I was not very treated like respect and human beings. And when I came, I was 25 years old. I feel respected, appreciated, treated right. And I say, well, I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm going to stay here in America. And that's why. Yeah.
Great answer. Thank you. I have a million questions, Phil. I don't want to step on your toes.
No, it's great. Go. It's wonderful. So can you walk us through a day, like breakfast, through dinner? What kind of ideas do you have?
Well, like I say, Phil, I like to work with pressure, and I'm very creative. It's hard for me to sit on my desk here and take a piece of paper and write some menu.
Is it like
You,
biscuits and gravy for breakfast and
you,
hot dogs
you
at
drop,
lunch?
you drop me in a big farmer market, I can come and have all those crazy ideas and do a great dinner. Sometimes I start with something on paper, and my creativity make me change, tweak it a little bit, or make it better. But breakfast, we're going to do a classic, a mix of. I'm planning to bring some French pastries like croissant, pain au chocolat for the morning. I have the
Filled my
sauce.
heart.
Okay. We're going to do some fruit. I was thinking also to do some good breakfast bowl with maybe a little bit of quinoa, scrambled eggs, sauteed spinach on the healthy side. Of course, we'll have omelets maybe in the morning, quiche, something good, fresh, not too heavy. Maybe a granola with a yogurt parfait and good berries on the side. And after lunch and dinner, we'll do a combination, maybe a good salad, mixed salad with some roasted corn, if I find some corn, beets. I love beets, roasted beets, hard-boiled eggs with a salad. After for lunch, it can be a pot chicken breast with making a good salad with it, with grapes and tarragon inside, and make nice buns. And dinner, we talk about it, a good family style dinner with some roasted grilled vegetable, white meats and chimichurri, maybe a lamb chops one night. Again, I'm planning to buy my meat, all the steaks or protein from my supplier in Atlanta called Bucket Beef. I will have everything. That's why I want to come with my truck, like that I will be able to bring some my main supply. But we're going to make it, a good salad, and maybe 2 protein options, seafood, of course. Try to find some seasonal also product to put on the table. And my stuff, I'm totally leaning more on the healthy side, using a lot of olive oil, herbs, marinating. I love chimichurri, but you can do chimichurri with a lot of cilantro or a good mango salsa with some fresh mai or good brown rice with dried dates. So I love couscous. I love tagines, Moroccan style vegetable stew. That means it's not going to be complicated for me to put something on paper and bring some good food on the table.
So
what do you think, Randy?
Well, I've been so many things. I have really enjoyed reading Kitchen Confidential by Chef Bourdain.
Yeah.
And, it got me thinking about this whole experience of cooking and sharing, and I love hearing that your origin story of being around the family and being that kind of experience. Is there, like Bourdain talks about, I think it was the experience of fresh oysters when he was a child in France that sort of always called him back and made him feel at home. And I was wondering if there's a signature dish for you, something that's especially significant to you.
Well, famous, that's a question, people like to ask to a chef, a favorite dish. I have many, but I will go back to my childhood. My mom used to do poule au pot. Poule au pot, it's a chicken, it's a hen. It's like a rooster. Rooster, we make the famous coq au vin. Why?
Right. Yep.
Because the meat is so tough, you have to cook it for a long, like a stew. That means poule au pot is the same. It's the hen who unfortunately cannot lay eggs anymore. That means we have to do something with it. And that means we cook it in a big pot of water with winter vegetable like turnips, leeks, and leeks, turnips, potatoes, and you cook it for 3-4 hours slowly. And with a bouillon, with a broth, my mom used to make a good rice pilaf. And again, with the same broth, she was making half cream, half broth, and making a very good creamy sauce with mushroom inside and a little bit of curry powder. That's one of my memory. If I have to cook something for my mom, that will be one of them. Seafood would be coquille Saint-Jacques in a shell. Coquille Saint-Jacques in a shell with a nice pan-seared scallops, mussel, copper shrimp, and a good white wine cream sauce to put on the top, and some breadcrumbs on the top, and finish it in oven. That would be my number 2. She was very and her homemade mayonnaise. Nothing better. Homemade mayonnaise.
Wonderful.
It's so simple to make, egg yolk, mustard, little pinch of salt, and a good oil. That's it.
So you talked about how you love that it brings people together, it makes people happy, and I love that that's where you come from. Is it a cooking a creative act for you? Is it a meditative thing? What is the experience of cooking for you?
Honestly, it's to make people happy and feel good. Honestly, yes. I have excitement when I cook. I say, okay, well, like I cook for a friend of mine birthday on a Monday, and it was only 6 of us, and I was happy to do it. I was very happy to do it, and I base off compared to what my friend cooked sometime when I go to his house. I mean, I try to create some stuff that he knows, and it's to please people. It makes them feel good and happy. That's that came from my mother, from my mom. My dad was very demanding about food because he was a gourmand, and I remember my dad finishing dinner or finishing lunch and looking at my mom saying, "Oh, that was good, but what are we going to have tonight?" And my mom looking and say, "Oh my gosh, he just finished lunch and he wants to know what he's going to get for dinner or what we're going to have family."
Perfect.
I mean, that's what the way I grew up, and friend is very important. I think to have a home or to have a room full of, it's nothing worse than to have dinner by yourself. To be with someone, just only one person, and talk about it, or a stranger, or it's great. It's a way to connect. It can be starting. Oh, you serve something on the table, and you bring a nice broccoli with a good brown butter and garlic chips on the top, and someone can say, "Oh, I don't like broccoli," but that's part of I hate broccoli. It remind me my childhood. Okay, conversation can start with that. How was your childhood?
Too much broccoli. Yeah.
Where did you grow up? Oh, I grew up on a broccoli farm.
Wow.
Okay, now I understand.
Wonderful.
Oh, Charles, thank you. What do you think, Randy?
Well, I'm just thrilled. I'm so looking forward to having time with you and getting to know you even better, and to share the food and the conversation with you. I love where you, like I said, I love where you came from. I love that the roots of this is in celebration and joyfulness and communication. One of the themes of this week's conference is resilience. And I think you have to be very resilient to be a chef, to spend 6, 12 to 14-hour days, to risk the possibility of failure, to go through the experimentation. And resilient people, face challenges and are committed to their goals. And I think great chefs are very resilient. So I'm sure we have a lot to learn from you. And I just couldn't be happy that you'll be willing to be part of this.
Good. Yes. Yeah. I make, I didn't think, I feel obligated and enjoyed to cook, to entertain, I miss so many family times, so many birthdays, so many Christmas or New Year's Eve and everything. But and now it's for that. Now it's time change. I'm 62, and here coming with you and spending a week with you, it's work, but it's not work first. It's to be in a place. Of course, I'm going to make a little bit of money, but that's not my main goal, because if you chase only money, it's not happiness. It's mostly. And I hope I will serve broccoli and everybody love my broccoli.
All right. Well, modest goals.
That's great. Thank you,
I make
Charles.
that
I
broccoli
look forward to
right.
yeah. Looking forward to sitting down and enjoying a meal with you very soon. Many meals and many more, please.
Yeah. It's going to and I'm going away for 19 days. I'm going to Barcelona and France. I'm leaving Friday and coming back mid-July and I hope I'm going to get some ideas during my travel and say, hey, let's do a little tapas night or something like that at the retreat. Why not?
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Randy.
Chorizo scrambled eggs for breakfast, with huh?
We're honored to have you.
We're good?
Very. Yes, sir.
Good.
That's perfect.
Thank
you,
you.
Charles. Thanks, Randy. All right, buddy.
Safe journeys. Bon voyage.
Okay, and have a good July 4th. I don't know if you are traveling or entertaining, but happy cooking and have a good time.
Same to you, my friend. Look forward to seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.